So that's what the chart looked like when I did my buy, right? Because you can see 1639, or
Right?
should be right around there.
Yeah, 16,
So
38, 26.
what I was looking at was it's in a pennant pattern, right? Where you've got the flat bottom. Well, technically that would be called a descending flat triangle, but we're not going to get too technical. Yep, there you go. Yep, connect
Like that.
that. So
Okay.
what I was looking at was the length of the wicks, which your bottom line kind of covered up there.
On which one here? Yeah, I can.
Well, yeah, go. Yeah, there you go. All right. So you see how when it came down off that sharp drop there, um, yeah, the big sharp drop,
The first one right here.
right? See how the wicks showed a lot of buy pressure, even when the overall candle was still very red, and then the next candle flipped into a bullish candle with similar volatility on the wicks on either side of the candle. Then you can see it kind of ranges up and down, yada yada, and kind of descends downward again. But when you start reaching that same region that sharp drop reached, you start seeing those wicks appear again. A lot of buy pressure. It's a very strong support zone. People are, when they see that price, they don't say, oh crap, we're dropping. They say, let me buy. And that's what's creating those wick buy pressures on those candles. And if you look at it, it's rounded a little bit on the bottom where the wicks are. If you were to kind of connect the wicks from the sharp drop to the middle section to where that last candle is with that wick, it makes kind of like that arc. Well, you're going to want to connect the wicks, not the candle
Oh, the
body.
wicks. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha. Yeah. See this. Okay. So,
Always include the wicks when you're doing your charting
okay. So
because
something like that.
it is price action, right? So you want to make sure you include the wicks. The only time I discount the wicks is on really strong news events like non-farms payroll, which is the first Friday of every single month, right? And those tend to go hoik, hoik, hoik all over the place. So I'll
Right.
generally discount that. But you see how it's rounded. That
Right.
means that's generally a sign that it's getting ready to begin recovery. You know, you had a higher low, a lower low, and then a higher low. So that's that rounded bottom that you may hear some people talk about sometimes when they're trading. Um, and so I saw that, and I looked at how the range for the candles was getting tighter. Less uh, up and down movement, right? So it's tightening in that range.
Okay.
And then from there, I said, all right, well, this is a good spot to buy because my instincts and the chart are telling me that it is about to recover. And so bought two Ethereum at 1639. And well, the rest was history.
Oops. And let's close that. How do I close that? Stop closing. I got new toys to play with. Sorry, guys. So yeah, it as soon as I move it, it takes off. So you actually purchased here, and then literally it just did a huge spike up to 1670,
Mhm.
then kind of plateaued. Now, when it did this big drop right here, were you concerned that it was going to go all the way back down to where you were, or I mean, a lot of people like myself, I'm like, oh my god, I made $100 on the trade, and I just lost 50. It's like, oh god, get out of it quick. Um, and that's where my emotional side comes into play because I'm not experienced in that. I don't have the rules that we've talked about. And so, yeah, a lot of us, we knee jerk reaction. We see this huge red right here, and it's like, yep, it's going to go back down again. I better get out of it.
Well, those same kind of knee-jerk reactions is what caused it to drop in the first place, right? Everyone's like, crap, I got to sell before everybody else does because the dollar's going up, and it causes it to plummet, right? And
Right.
so if you learn to not get suckered into knee-jerk reactions, you'll have the time to think, to analyze and decide what you're wanting to do with it.
Okay. And that's something we've got to realize because, yeah, so you purchased literally right here at this blue line at 1639, like you said. We're sitting here at 1719 current.
Mhm.
That's a huge jump. Now,
Yep.
not financial advice, but I mean, are you seeing this going to go back up like it never happened? I mean, do we have any idea what's going on?
So, as far as that goes, I tend not to look at the micro picture. I tend to look at the macro. Anywhere from the 4 hour, the daily, etc. And the macro on the dollar is not very very happy. And if you look at the chart right there, you're on the daily. Yes.
Right.
Okay, so you see how you can draw a trend line coming right up, and it goes. Start your trend line over. No, no, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, 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 to the right, to the right, to the right, right, right. All right, no, no, to the left. All right, up, to the right a little bit, and
Speak.
right there. There you go. Draw your trend line. See how it basically connects all of those guys right there. You've got the wick on the middle one there, and then you have the bounce that we just did.
Right.
So for me, unless it falls under that trend line, because a trend line is confirmed once there's 3 touches onto the trend line. You can start to draw a trend line on 2, but to me, it's not a confirmed trend line until there's at least 3 touches.
Okay, and that's where we're talking. Right, here's one, here's
Mhm.
two, and here's a third. Correct.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So unless it falls under that trend line, I have no reason to sell, right? And of course, that trend line increases in price as we go further in time. So, at basically, since I kind of bought the bottom there, I don't have any reason to sell. And if I did, I would sell at essentially what I bought it for. So little red drops like that, they don't phase me because I'm looking at it from a technical standpoint. I'm looking at it from, okay, I know where my entry is. I know what my potential risk is, which in this case is essentially nothing because I managed to get lucky and time the bottom. And from here, I just watch the trend line on the daily chart and
Okay.
watch as it slowly works its way up. And if you actually look at the daily chart, you can see a pattern known as an Adam and Eve pattern. That's actually right there on the chart. So if you move your mouse to the left, basically right underneath where the little pencil icon is for your trend line, yep, that is the sharp V dip that essentially starts the Adam and Eve pattern. And what it will do is it will V dip down, and then it will make a very slow, gradual cup. So it'll have that round feel to
Okay.
it.
Boy, you got to draw these next time. That'd make it easier.
Let me go ahead and pull up the chart. Give me
Yeah,
a
let's pull
second.
yours up. And while you're doing that, I definitely want to do a couple shout outs. So I'm going to give you the screen. But while we're doing that, I want to roll in here. So a couple comments came in. So Yabonks, amazing. Kelly's reading that series right now. Yes, The Wheel of Time is an amazing series. It's my personal favorite fantasy novel series. And I listen to audiobook every night while I go to bed. We just listen to series over and over for like the last 3 years. In fact, 2 of my children are named after characters in the book. I've got Horatio Matrum, my youngest son, and Sharae Egwene, my youngest daughter. So yeah, Matrum and Egwene, characters out of the Book of the Wheel of Time. So it's been a huge journey in my life. And I was lucky enough to meet Mr. Robert Jordan one time in Vancouver, Canada in would have been about 1998, right after the 8th book was written. And me and my brother went down there. I bought every book in the bookstore, one of every one, took my whole paycheck, bought books, got in line like 6 different times with him. Got to talk to him several times, told the stories about how he can keep all these characters, the whole story straight, but he cannot for the life of him remember take out the trash. So his wife Harriet was always giving him hell about it. And just a great guy, great down to earth, and really sad when he did pass away. Happy that Brandon Sanderson did finish the series with Harriet's overlook and oversee. So yeah, I hope she enjoys it. I'd love to talk to her about it. I think it'd be great. And says, hi, Lynn. And Ags, there's the woman of the hour, the one who generously donates so much to the Yabonks Animal Sanctuary. Love you, Ags. Says, hey guys, really appreciate your streams. Thank you for DeFi education that you offer for free. And on Crypto with Serenity, your step up and sound is awesome now and very professional. Thank you, Dara. That's what I'm going for. I really tried to take this to the next level. Figure if I'm going to compete with the big dogs, and as my mentor, Mr. Yabunks, has taught me, I got to step up my game, both in video and audio, everything about me. So this is the result. So thank you, my dear. I appreciate that. Okay, Master Cyril, walk us through this, my man. So Adam and Eve. I don't see any naked people, buddy. I'm looking for naked. I'm even looking for a tree with an apple, and I don't see any of that on this chart. So what in the hell is an Adam and Eve, man?
Yeah, I had no idea why they call it that. They just do.
Okay.
I wasn't around to name the patterns to begin with. Uh, it it's kind of helpful to think of it as a backwards cup and handle, but the difference here is that the handle is bigger than the cup. So you've got your V shape, and then you have your curve in the chart.
Okay, now I see what you're talking about.
Right. Now that generally indicates upward movement in the future. So due to some news events, I believe we had something that happened here that caused us to drop pretty sharp. I believe that was when the SEC started throwing around the term lawsuit. So it put a stop to our rally there.
Right.
Bear in mind, this is the daily chart. So this starts back in May of 22. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, I look at long-term charts like this because that's where patterns are very visible. It's very easy to spot them, and it's going to be a lot more reliable when you're doing charting. And then of course we just had the general uncertainty in the market, and but otherwise, what we should have done is we should have. Let me draw a little thing here. We should have kind of ranged like this, give or take, but the SEC, they don't want to have that. So
yeah, they don't have any fun. And
right.
So now,
but since we have our trend line here, though, right? We're still macro working our way upwards, even though we're short term down. From mid-April to now, we're kind of down. It's not, for me, it's not a cause of concern because we established a trend line, because we bounced there at that 1639. To me, that says we are still at least consolidating upwards. I wouldn't say we're on any kind of bull run, but yeah. So
okay, sounds good. And Dave Fice says the ETH released killed that uptrend. Yeah, it's and this is something that most of us don't know about charts. I really have no knowledge how to read these things properly. To me, it's like a crapshoot. It's like, yeah, it looks like it's going up. Let's buy some. Oh, that didn't work. So, but now this lets us know from what you're telling us here, if I'm interpreting for the slower or small investors, that perhaps Ethereum might be a good one to start doing some dollar cost averaging. If we put our $5 a month into, or a week into Ethereum, sounds like it's kind of a safe bet then. Safe-ish. I won't say safe.
yeah, nothing safe, right? But it's definitely, in my opinion, a decent time to accumulate, but don't accumulate with everything. And the reason why I say this is this big pattern here is essentially a stretched out version of the previous bull run. Okay. And you can even see that. See, here's your peak, right? Here's your peak running up to it. Then you have another peak right here, peak, right? So little peak, mid peak, top peak, drop down, peak. Okay, keep that in mind. I know it's a lot to keep track, but here's peak 1, peak 2, top, drop down, peak, right? So that's right here.
Okay.
You see the similarities in just the movement. So from that peak, you had another drop down. Well, here's that drop down, right?
Okay.
Now, I think comparatively, we're sitting right about here as far as like the movement of the chart. So this part was stretched and this part is condensed compared to here. So let's make that a little easier to see. So
So here's what I got out of that. Yeah, I've got the baby bear peak, the mama bear peak, and the daddy bear peak all got to the top, and then they fell off a cliff together. Then they hit a rock on the way down and bounced in the air and then went straight down. That's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, close enough, I suppose.
Okay,
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the blue bars right here.
Okay.
And I know that this is not generally part of our regularly scheduled programming,
Right,
but
this is good education.
It's part of it, right?
It is. And that's
so if you were to zoom in on this guy, right, you can see the movement a little bit better. You got your peak up, comes down, kind of arcs. See how it's arcing right here?
Right.
That rounded bottom I was referring to?
Yeah, that's our Adam and Eve right there we just talked about, right?
Uh-huh. Well,
okay.
And well, this is the weekly, but or the weekly chart. But yeah, close enough. So and then from there, we have our current peak or from back in mid-April and now pulling back. So if we were to look at this, let's zoom out a little bit. So we have same comparison. Here's that V, right? Here's the arc with a little peak.
Okay.
Do you see how it's a similar pattern?
I do, very similar. It's just more it's crushed. It's like it
ran
into a wall and
crushed.
Exactly. I got it. Okay. And I can deal with crashes. I'm good with that.
You have to understand, this crash was one of the first that people had experienced. The majority of people didn't really become aware of crypto until this bull run in 2017, right? Okay. So this crash lasted a long time because there was not as much adoption. People were like, oh man, I knew it was a bubble. I shouldn't have bought in. This is, I just lost all my money because I bought ETH at $1,200 and now it's 141, right? Okay. So there was a lot of pain there. Right. And that's a 90% drawdown, right? And that's a lot huge. It is. And if we were to do this drawdown, this is down. Where's the bottom? There it is, 81%. So similar amount, right? It's all one of the things that I really try to get people in crypto to understand is that it's all repeating cycles all the time. It's just a matter of being able to say, okay, based off of the new rate of adoption, how widespread crypto is now, that's why the patterns, the bull runs are going to be stretched and the bear parts will be condensed, right? The bearish consolidation will be condensed because people now, instead of having the mindset of crap, I lost all my money, this was a bubble, this is terrible. What is it we're all seeing when we look at the charts now? We're like, that's a sale. I'm going to buy some, right?
Okay, gotcha.
And so it's changed the dynamic of how price action is working, but it's the same repeating pattern. So to me, I think we'll have probably another pullback on ETH, probably a down to maybe the 1350 range, right? Before it starts consolidating. When it gets back up to like the 2100 range, to me, that's going to be a great signal that the bull market is soon. Because if you look, here's this little peak, what we're talking about, where we're at right now. That was at 351, right?
Right.
The next time we got up to 351 was at the footsteps of this recent bull market. So what I look at, what I'm looking at the macro on charts is I say, okay, we've seen the pattern. We understand the movement now. So let's identify what is going to be our signal action for returning to the bull. And yeah, that's so that's what I'm looking at. I'm expecting we will likely see the chart kind of range around, kind of come back up, not quite to there, come back down, come back up, down a bit, and then off it goes into the next bull run. Now, I want you to pay attention to this time down here. Okay. So for those of you who've heard me talk or seen me like typing in chats or whatnot, when people always ask me, when do you think the bull market's going to start? And I tell them, not as soon as you want. It will come, but not as soon as you want, right?
Right, never
Uh,
does.
right. So I believe, and this will probably be condensed a little bit, but I kind of dragged it out so you guys could see it a little bit better. I believe that we're not going to see this indicator until, well, actually, right around the time I have that on the chart. So that works. But I don't think we'll see that indicator until like November to January-ish of 2024.
Okay.
So November of 2024, moving into the bull run peak sometime between March and August of 25. That's my time frame that I've been looking at.
Gotcha. So now let me ask you on this, because I mean, I'm looking at your chart and I see it going up and down from even where we are. It could go a little bit lower than that. So for some of us who are like, hey, the money that we're putting into this weekly event of $25, that's a big amount. Is it still wise to dollar cost average now, even knowing that it could dip down? Maybe I should just save it in a bank account and wait until it dips and then buy a whole bunch all at once. What's the better way, and why is that unwise or wise?
So you're never going to time the bottom, right?
Okay.
No matter how much, like even I consider myself very, very lucky if I manage to time the bottom on something, right?
Okay.
And so like the recent buy I just did of the Ethereum, I got lucky with timing the bottom there. That doesn't normally happen, right? Even your best trader is never going to have consistency when it comes to timing the bottom. So what I do is I break my buys up. I actually wanted to buy 4 ETH, but I bought half of that because what if it wasn't the bottom? What if it does come down some more? In which case, you don't want to shoot all your money out at once and then have that pullback. But imagine if I hadn't bought thinking it was going to go lower, try to time the bottom, and then I miss it, right? And then it pumps
Okay.
back up, and I'm like, well, crap, I wish I had bought, right? So that is why we dollar cost average our way in, DCA in, just like we'll DCA out during the bull market.
Okay.
That way, you're capturing, okay, the price might be here one day, but it might be down here the next, might be here the next, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you get a nice lower average instead of just being caught by the outlier each time.
Okay. So I want to do one thing real quick, just for people who may not understand. Is that mine? Yeah, that's true. Okay. So we're back on the same ETH chart, and I'm on the weekly chart. So you're saying we're somewhere, we're just going to make a real big circle, somewhere in this zone ish.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're buying little pieces here, even though it might be low. We're still buying, even if it goes up here and goes back down. We're still buying little bits at a time. And then what we're going to do is, as it's doing this we're going to start sell, 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 sell all the way up.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll sell our way out just like we bought our way in.
Okay. So we're literally going to buy it here. Let's see. Let's go green. I got colors to play with. It's great. So we're going to use this whole zone to purchase.
Uh-huh.
Then we're going to flip around. And then once we start seeing this zone, we're going to start selling. But we're not going to do it all at once. Like when it hits here, we're not going to go, oh, dump the bag. We're going to do
Right.
a little bit here, a little here, a little here. I'm just going to keep doing that. Now, even when it comes back down, are we still going to be selling, or are we going to start buying here again? Or, I mean, we don't know what chart's going to look like, of course.
Right. You don't know exactly how that pattern is going to play out, what it's going to look like. Usually, if I'm looking at re-entering, like after a pullback during a bullish movement, what I'll do is I won't buy back in spot, right? I'll do a shorter term leverage trade. I'll drop a little leverage buy in, let it, go up just over a day or two, and then sell it. Accumulating spot is great during the bear market. During the bull market, if you're doing buys like that, it should be with leverage or margin trading versus buying spot, because If it suddenly pops on you, you don't want to be sitting there holding a whole bunch of ETH. You know,
Right.
you just want to have your properly risk managed leverage trade, which, you know, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Well, that's going way down the rabbit hole there. And yeah, Ags has some great advice, Maury. And so Ags says, you may want to add a Buddha statue in the background. It will send a message to your viewers to take a breath, pause, and not FOMO before making any trading decisions. Absolutely. I think that's a great one, Ags. I can fit a Buddha back there. I can do that. Don't I kind of fit a Buddha if I can sit there and I got the bald head. We're good. Working on the belly. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might have to up your calorie intake a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut it back because I'm not running around. When I was cutting wires as an electrician, I was walking between 9 to 15 miles a day across the plant, the yard, and everything. Now I'm not doing that. So I've cut back on what I eat and everything a lot, just so I don't have that Buddha look. So now this, to a lot of people who are watching, probably just blew their minds. Like, okay, but why is that really relevant? Why is the chart? And we're talking hundreds and thousands of dollars. We're dealing with $5 in blue chips. Why does this really matter to somebody who's putting $5 worth of blue chips in today?
Well, absolutely, because percentage gain is percentage gain, whether it's with $100,000 or $50. That percentage is what you need to get the mindset of is I made X percent, not, oh, I only made $5. Whereas, you know, Cyril over there trading made 50 grand, you know, it's percentage, right? If you're up like 30% on something, 100%, 200%, you know, because we've been buying during the bear and then we're going to sell into the bull, we're going to be up a lot of percent when that comes. That's what matters, right? Because then that bag is growing in size. The amount doesn't matter. The amount is what you can put in. What matters is the percentage you grow it, because I guarantee you, whatever you grow it is going to be better than if you had just chucked it in a savings account, or if you had just bought yourself a lottery ticket or a little scratch off that you like doing, right?
Right.
So it's because at least it'll keep up with inflation. Savings account won't even do that, right?
Oh, God, no, not even close. And this is a conversation you and I have had in great detail about the whole concept of the working class people. I've always looked at, well, if I buy a lottery ticket, okay, hey, I bought a lottery ticket. It's either all or nothing kind of deal. There is no middle ground. And I think a lot of people have that mentality of, well, I'm either going to make a million or it's just $10 blown. But with doing it this way, you're saying we don't have to risk it's all blown. Yeah, we may not make a million, but we're going to make $10. You start adding that up, it can actually rack up to a sizable amount.
It does, you know, and that's the thing. Like when I first started my trading journey almost 14 years ago, I started with $500. I grew it to be about 3,800 and then proceeded to lose it because it was before I had learned to use stop losses effectively. So I was doing great. I basically started buying and it was like at the tail end of shoot, what was that? Gosh, that was so long ago. Either way, I started buying. It was a really bad time to start buying. It was like right when everything started pulling back. But you know, and I had to build it back up. And it took a while. The majority of my trading journey has been slowly building up, right? Taking those percentage gains and reinvesting, taking those small percentages, taking them as wins. You know, they were never big amounts. You know, I didn't wind up really kind of hitting it big until I shorted the Dow right when COVID became a thing and everything shut down.
Right, it crashed.
Yeah, yeah. That right there was how I essentially turned. I spent, let's see, I spent the first 10 years slowly building my way up to a $30,000 account. It took me 10 years to grow it to that point, right? And I had losses. There were times I wiped out almost my entire portfolio. It was a learning experience. And over time, I developed my set of rules from my losses, right? All of my rules are written in red. And once I had my rule set down, I was able to start having that consistent percentage gain, which over time snowballs. And so, right around 2020, I had about 30 grand, and I went ahead and shorted the Dow because I saw something in the charts, the reverse yield or the inverse yield on the bond market, which typically signifies you've got about a max of 18 months before a massive market pullback. So I was looking for that and started shorting, flipped that 30K into a quite sizable amount. And then when Bitcoin hit the bottom, that I was looking for on the chart, I took that amount, dropped it all into Bitcoin, and then DCA'd my way out up in the 55K region. And that's what you do, right? You take your consistent percentages on your small account and you grow it. It takes patience, it takes discipline. It's not exciting, okay? It's going to be very, very boring, to the point where a lot of people who start off with the good intent of growing their small account consistently wind up being like, oh, I'm sure this is a great buy. And they go hard on a buy instead of sticking with that consistency. And then they wind up losing it. And then they give up.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, it'd be very devastating. You work 6 months, you get a decent bag, like, okay, I see it, it's perfect, I'm ready, buy it, and crash. Like, oh God, that's it, I'm done.
There's been times in the beginning of my trading career where I took a couple month break after experiencing a large loss. I mean, I believe I told you what my largest loss ever was before.
Yeah. I don't even think we can tell the public how bad that was. That's you're welcome to, man. I'm gonna sit over here and yeah.
Yeah, it was
Go ahead. And DeFi's got the Chucky doll with a big stick to crack you when you do something shady.
That works. That works. Yeah, it was a loss of 186K on one trade.
And how long did it take you to lose $186,000, Cyril?
I woke up and it was gone. Yeah. And it was over the dumbest mistake too. There's a platform that I trade on in the Forex markets. And it remembers the lot size you used last time. And previously, I had a trade in on gold where I'll use a much higher lot size, which for those who don't know, that basically means leverage, right? I use a much higher leverage on gold because it's a lot more predictable, and you can use higher leverage on it with a relative safety. But before I went to bed, I put in a buy limit order for Bitcoin, and I was tired, so I didn't realize that the lot size was still set for by gold lot size, and the buy would have been fine. I would have been down a bit if it was using my correct lot size, but I would have been okay. I would have put in second position and then rode it back up to profit because it would have been in profit the next day. But yeah, because the leverage was so high, that additional little drop that it experienced after my entry point margined out that trading account. Yes, the devil is in the details. Needless to say, from that point on, I always double checked my lot size when putting in any limit orders.
Oh, bet, man. I couldn't even imagine. I've had bad days. I've wrecked cars. I've done things. I could not imagine going to bed, putting in an order, waking up, losing $186,000. Oh my God. I don't think I'd ever sleep again. It's like, no, that's like a horror story gone horribly wrong.
Well, it was a bad day. But what I did is I transferred some money from my landing account to the trading account, because that's the way it works in Forex markets. You got your landing account where your money sits until you put it into the trading account. And thankfully, I run two different steps of risk management, where I'll only put about 10% of my funds that I want to trade with in the trading account. The rest stays in the landing account. That way, even if I screw up colossally, at most, I'll be down 10% of my Forex trading portfolio. So I transferred some money over, and within a month, I made it all back on gold, not Bitcoin. I stayed away from Bitcoin for a couple months after that,
Right.
but I made it back on gold. So it wasn't. It was really bad at the time, and I definitely had a bad day. But it wasn't bad for me in the grand scheme of things. So
Okay, so now let me ask you real quick. So just to put this in perspective, because I'm a lot of people like myself, like lost $186,000. Like, man, that's like 3 years' wages. But to get to that point, because I mean, you've been doing this all the time. From the time you first started trading till you got to the point to where you could recover from a loss like that, how much time was that that you actually grew and learned?
like 14 years that I've been trading.
Okay.
It's a long time.
So
Like I said,
it took a lot of time to build up to that level to where you could bounce back from that kind of loss. Okay.
yeah, it took me, like I said, 10 years to start my trading journey with $500 to build it to 30K, right? And then the majority of my portfolio I made during the COVID crash and during the Bitcoin bull run. And that's kind of where I'm at now. And now I have enough in my trading account on the Forex markets that, you know, I don't really ever have to worry about going broke per se. I'll always be okay. Even if I do wind up having a day where I screw up and lose 186K. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't even fathom that. I really can't. I mean, yeah. When I was cutting wires, I'm making like 50K a year. It's like, yeah, you're talking like 3 years worth, 3+ years worth of wages. And I'm sure most of us can't understand that, but you're saying that we can grow to that. And it takes time, it
yeah.
takes patience. And that's something this journey is beginning down that road. It's teaching us the foundational rules of that patience, of those dollar cost averaging, these little lessons.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the goal here at Rags to Riches is to teach you the patience, teach you the discipline, teach you good trading habits, right? That's why we're consistently every week, $25, we're treating it like a bill, right?
Oh,
You find out what can I afford to allocate towards investing in my future? Because that's what we're doing. When you go and you buy a scratch off, you're not investing in your future. You're making a crapshoot, right?
right.
It's a roll of the dice. You might as well go down to the casino. You almost have better, well, you do have better odds at a
You do have better
casino than you
odds. Yeah.
do at a scratch table, especially if you're playing blackjack and counting the cards.
Yeah.
But you're investing in your future, right? And I know that's something that you teach a lot in your channel. Is, you don't have to have millions to work on growing your future, right? Everyone
Right.
starts with nothing but the shirt on their back, unless of course you were born into a wealthy family, in which case, we'll eat you during the class war. But
Yeah. Exactly.
but yeah, anyone can do this if you have the patience, the discipline to be consistent. It's not going to be exciting, it's not going to be fun, but it is growth. It is consistent growth. And that is what matters.
Right. And that's the biggest thing here, guys, is we're not trying to show you on things. We're not saying, hey, you must go buy this and you'll be a millionaire tomorrow. No. That's the biggest thing, like Cyril was talking about here, is it could take years or even decades. But if you're consistent, if you're patient, if you're wise, and if you run with the foundational rules that we're trying to teach you, your life will be better. That's all we can say. We don't know when, we don't know how, we don't know how much, but it will be better than it is today.
It all
About the only
depends
thing we
on
can say.
you.
Yeah, I love it. And so Agster in there says, I can relate to consistency in trading on a personal level when it comes to many aspects of life. For me personally, medication controlling my mind seemed like nothing until it took off. Okay. And it was like a walk in the park ever after. Awesome, Ags. Great to hear it, Dare. And so, yeah, a lot of it is just getting your brain to calm down, to relax. And I know that's tough, especially in the media frenzy that's going on, which is insane. It's like, oh my God, the world is ending. AI is taking over. The financial markets are crashing and aliens are landing in Vegas. What the hell is with that shit? I mean, it's just chaos. It's anarchy is what it feels like. But things are growing, things are building here, guys. And so look beyond all the drama, look beyond the news stories and crap articles in the grocery store stands. Build your future the way you want it. Don't let the world tell you how you have to build it.
100%. 100%. And it's the emotional control that's going to be really paramount to your trading journey. You know, when you're sitting there and you're in a trade and you're down 10 or 15%, or you're seeing that red number get bigger, right? And you feel that sinking feeling in your chest, and your hands are like starting to get a little clammy, and your head's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm losing money here. And that is the emotional response that you need to control, right? Because maybe you just need to look at a higher time frame and be like, oh, we're almost at support. Why am I panicking? This is a decent spot. You're never going to get the bottom when it's coming down, right? You know, you don't want to be buying into a falling knife, but you know, when it's consolidating and whatnot, you're never going to buy the bottom. Your trade's gonna go down a bit, right? You need to understand that, and you need to control your emotions when you see a red number, right? Just because you're down right now doesn't mean you need to panic close it. And that's what a lot of retail traders do. And that's why over 80% of retail traders are not profitable in the markets. So, you know, a little bit of emotional control, practice that breathing, you know, the home, you know, whatever floats your boat. For me, yeah, goose fraba. But
yeah, there you go. Whatever works for you, exactly. And that's the biggest thing here is we want to make sure we get out of the emotions, because in life it's all about emotions. I mean, somebody says something, you start a fight with them, you get in their face, they cut you off on the freeway, you honk the horn. You know, whenever you let emotions take control and you react to what somebody else or something else does, you're actually giving control to them of your body. And so
you're losing.
That's not an okay concept. Yeah. You say, here, you have total control of me. I'm a puppet. Pull my strings. No, not okay. And that's something I had to go through recovery and all that to learn that, nah, you know what? You are welcome to go away. I'm just going to stop here. I'm going to wait for a second. I'm going to let you mess with everybody else. Have a nice day. And I'm going to go about my merry way. I'm cool with that.
A little tidbit for you. And I want you to dwell on this for a second. All anger is derived from one thing, and that is unmet expectations. I see you running through scenarios trying to figure
I am. Okay, so cut off in traffic, hit my hand with a hammer, lose on water. Yeah. Okay, you're right. I concede. The master has spoken. Yes.
So try to just be open to whatever happens, right? You don't need to put these preconceived expectations that I'm going to invest, I'm going to make money. No, you're going to start off learning, right? That's what you're going to do. And you're going to take some lumps, right?
You're going to pay tuition, essentially, what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Okay. You know, learning is never free, whether that comes from time, money, effort, or tuition. You're going to pay one of them, right?
Blood, sweat, and tears if you work in construction. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Couple bruised thumbs from smacking it with a hammer, right? But yeah, you know, so try to keep your life clear of expectations, right? And you'll find that it's much harder for you to get angry. Just take it as it comes. And if something occurs that you would normally get angry about, be like, what can I learn from this? Right? Because we need to learn, we need to grow. And that's what we do here in trading too, is we learn from our mistakes. It's not a loss. If you learn from it, it's a lesson.
There you go. If you don't learn, then yeah, it's a loss and you're an idiot. Got it. Or just thick-headed like me.
I like to call it the 3 L's. If it's a loss, but you learn from it, it's a lesson.
Perfect. I like that. And, you know, that's a great piece of advice. And that's one thing I've had to do in my personal world. And I realized growing up and stuff, I always got very upset when people didn't go by the script in my head. I had this all planned out. So, okay, I'm going to come home with flowers. She's going to say this. I'm going to do this. It's going to be a romantic night. It's going to be great. I came home with flowers, and the kid was puking on the carpet, and the dog was over there shitting on the rug. And she's like, okay, those are pretty. I'll look at them in a minute. I'm like, no, you look at them now. I was like, wait, well, what is wrong with this picture? I'm the one being the asshole. And it took years to get to that point to say, okay, what? I can't set up a script or have a preconceived notion of expectations. I've just got to let it flow. And if it goes that direction, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Because what great adventure could there be that maybe my brain didn't think up? Because I have limited capabilities. So the universe is vast. It's amazing what happens when you open your mind to open new opportunities, new experiences. You never know what you could run into.
Right. And if you go into situations or go into life with expectations and those preconceived notions, you're going to miss a lot of the magic.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And some of the best events in my life have been for things that were just totally random. And, when I was younger, I used to take $20, put it in my pocket on a Friday morning, jump on my motorcycle, and I would just head that direction. I'd drive for an hour and I'd hit a crossroads in the middle of freaking nowhere. I mean, I live in Idaho. You can drive for an hour and there's nothing. And I would hit an intersection. I'd look left, look right. Let's turn left here. And I would just start riding. And I'd go for about half the day. And eventually I'd find a gas station and say, hey, by the way, where is Boise? I got to go home. I had no idea where I was, but I didn't care. And it was great. It was magical. It was an awesome experience. I miss those days.
It sounds like it was fun. That's for sure.
It was.
So I know I noticed that we've managed to go almost the entire show without actually looking at how our portfolio is doing. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and briefly recap what our portfolio has done. We'll take a look at the votes, and then off air later tonight, I'll go ahead and do the purchases and update the spreadsheet for everyone. So let's take a look at how our portfolio has managed to survive during the recent...
It's been a bloody week. I mean, if you guys have been paying attention, everything has been in red. It's been psychotic. There's bloodbath, battles raging, bullets flying. Oh, God, it's horrible.
Yep. So our portfolio is hanging in there. We are down. So let's start off on our P&L sheet. Okay. So last week, our port total was $75 because we ended we had the 50 in there. Wait, no, it wasn't 75, was it? No, because it would have been, I'm sorry. I grabbed the wrong number in there. 1 second.
That's why we can't have nice things. Yeah.
Hey, I was close, okay? I was close. We had $71.60, right? From our adding. Now we're down essentially about the same that we were down last week, 7.5%. Well, 7.51 if we want to be specific. But that's not bad considering that the overall markets are actually down more than that. So we're fairly well diversified in that case. So we can see here we have our spot accounts. That's where we have our spot holdings, right? And our blue chips and our other projects. And then we have our investment account. Now, with your APY to earn pool, it's very difficult to actually track the value of that. So I have an approximation here.
And now I want to give everybody a quick update, guys. I'm going to pause everything for half a second. I ran into a problem today. Actually, yesterday. Mom wanted to put another $30 into the APY profit builder, and it popped up an error, and it said transaction declined. So I do have a help ticket in with Dex Finance on their Discord. I've put in a support ticket. I'm waiting to hear back. So if you guys do try to interact with it, deposit or withdrawals, all it says in MetaMask is transaction declined. So it is a support there. Yeah, it's weird. I checked Ebonx's, his works fine. So I'm not sure what's up, but there is a support ticket on it. It does look like it's still accumulating. But yeah, I don't want anybody freaking out like, oh my God, they wrecked. Yeah, no.
Did you rug us Serenity? Did you rug our X to Riches investment? I
God, I
knew
hope
it.
not.
I knew it.
So I just want to let everybody know that is out there. And so if you do try to interact, it is known and there is a support ticket for you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you letting us know.
Absolutely.
So we have our updated balance from June 16th prior to our deposit. We did just deposit another $25 of
Okay.
USDC. So I'll go ahead and add that here to the sheet. And now you can see that our portfolio is up to $91.60. Now
Woohoo.
we've done what is this? Is this our fourth episode?
I can't count that high. I think so. It's the 19th. Does that count? 2, 3. Yes.
Yeah. It's our fourth. It's our fourth episode. Yeah, I guess so. Yay! Happy 1 month anniversary. We've
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us.
Hey, in crypto time, a month might as well be a year, right?
It really is. I mean, yeah. Accelerate, and that's something I'll ask you later is about the chart on the whole crunchy thingy is that accelerated time. And we won't go down that rabbit hole right now because I know you're on limited time.
Yeah. So I wanted to propose something to the community. I know that it's there wasn't enough time, being that the recent drop on Matic occurred just the other day. But I saw that the community has voted for Matic as the blue chip that will be investing. And my question is, given the recent very sharp downturn, I believe that we'll see that come back up, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to propose a thought. I see that for the DeFi crypto investment, everyone has voted for XRP, right? Which they're still embroiled in an ongoing lawsuit. So, my proposal is this, and feel free to drop in the comments because I'm sure some of you guys have voted. But do you think that it would be wise to put the entire 25 instead of just 5 of it into Matic for this week while it's cheap and on this fire sale? Because right now Matic is, where did my chart go? Crap, I closed out the chart because I was sharing the screen. Matic's cheap right now. I think it's when I last looked, it's something like 61 cents or 62 cents, something like that.
I can pull it up here real quick.
Or actually, no, it's less than that. It's less than that because I just updated our price sheet. Yeah, it's like 59 cents right now. To me, that's a heck of a deal for Matic. So,
okay. So now let me ask you real quick before we dive into this. And Ags had a quick question. Ags, are the spreadsheets publicly available anywhere? Sorry if I missed it. Yes. On the Down Home Crypto Discord, Cyril had this spreadsheet there where you can make a copy and you can utilize that full functionality for your own investments. And we highly recommend everybody do that. Track your investments, guys, please.
Yep, because if you track your investments, this is our transaction sheet for this wallet. We know that we spent just shy of $2 in gas for all the transactions that we've done. So we know that our portfolio, our P&L, 2 of the dollars that we're down is actually represented in what we spent on gas. So we're able to track all of those expenditures. We're able to see what we did, when we did it, and we have that ledger essentially that allows us to fully keep track of all of our investments, where they are, when we did it, and it gives us a date to refer to. So if we ever want to go back and see, okay, what was our dollar cost average? What was the price of wrap BTC on this day at that time? And here's our transaction hash. So we can go, we can look at the exact time, and we can find all of that out, right? So tracking your investments like that is very, very important. And if you're not in the habit of doing it, you should.
Absolutely, I agree. And the Down Home Crypto should be in the description. There you go. That's the word I couldn't come up with. Description of this video. There should be a link right there to Down Home Crypto Discord. definitely jump in there, guys. If you're watching this, please, because that's where we vote. That's where we come up with all this information, and we listen to you guys, because you guys get to pick what we do. This is the first time Cyril's ever put forth a proposition to modify that. We've always left it to you. But I got to put you on the spot here for a sec, Cyril. Now, going from what we had initially planned, it's like, oh God, deer in the headlights. So we had an original plan going into this, but now shifting this, does this violate any of the rules of solvency, putting it all into one that we appear to be a fire sale, or does this change? Is there any concerns we have to worry about on this?
Well, no. The reason being, one, the suggestion here is into a blue chip, right? It would be a different story if we said, oh, let's go buy Shiba Inu with all $25, right? One, we wouldn't do that because it's on Ethereum, and we ain't got the money to do Ethereum transactions right now. We don't have, it's like when you say, Mom, can we go to McDonald's? She says, you got McDonald's money? Or I don't know. At least that's what mine used to say, because we broke up. Well, I mean, we grew up poor. So
us too. Yeah, same thing. But Happy Meal a month. I was good.
you guys vote on ETH. I'll be like, you got ETH money? Come on.
You pay the gas. It was always exactly. You fly, I'll buy. That was the deal, because I can afford the gas, but I can afford the soda. So you fly, I'll buy. We got it.
There you go. So being that the proposal is into a blue chip, right? It doesn't increase our level of risk. If anything, it decreases it, because having 80% into a DeFi projects are inherently riskier than a blue chip crypto, right? So it's actually reducing the risk that we'd be taking this week. Okay. So bearing that in mind, that's why I made the proposal.
Okay. No, and I think it's a good proposal. And Ags threw out a great question there, is why is Matic a great deal? I own some. Why do you think it's beneficial to own more potentially? So I've got the chart here from Matic. What time frame do you want this on, Cyril?
So scroll back out a little bit, zoom back out, and stop. All right, I want you see where Matic's just kind of blah, 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 going sideways? Right when it starts, no, near the beginning.
Oh, here.
Yeah, now right there, draw a trend line.
Right there.
And, oh, look at that.
Ooh, connect the dots. Okay. This is interesting.
And that's what? The weekly chart?
Yes, we are still on the weekly chart.
Which tells me that is a strong support that we just made, right? Because we just confirmed a trend line off that candle, off that wick bounce right there. Right. So having that confirmed trend line allows us to say we've got our 3 touches, we've got a trend line on the weekly, which is a very high time frame, meaning that it's going to respect those levels in a very strong way. So to me, the potential downside of Matic is at worst possibly that middle low right there.
Second right here? Oh, here?
No, right there. Yeah.
Okay.
To me, that would be worst case scenario for Matic.
Okay. And so that's at what, 31 cents? Let's see. I know there's a horizontal. Is that right? Oh, that's a line. Do I have a line? Yeah, there we go. Horizontal line. Okay. So worst case, you're saying right here at the $30.52. Sorry, 30 cents. 3052. There we go.
Right. And if you look at the potential upside compared to that little downside right there, the risk to reward ratio is very juicy.
So now this is where, if we're talking like, I always get these screwed up. So here we've got a lower low, then a lower high, then we've got, what is this called? Higher low? Mm-hmm. Higher low, okay. So that means there's pretty good odds that from here, it's going to break at least here, which is the $1.56 in time.
Yeah, that's my theory on it. Okay. It may take a bit to get there, but this is, in my opinion, not financial advice, just in my personal opinion. Okay. It is a really good spot to be, in as we begin cost averaging.
Okay. And now Ags right here, Celsius announced they are selling from July 1st a whole crap load of Matic.
Yeah, it looks like $51.8 million worth of Matic. So
Right.
in the grand scheme of things, that's actually not a lot. If you look at the total float of Matic across all the liquidity pools and various exchanges, that's a very mild float. So to me, that's not a huge cause for concern. And if anything, being that it was announced, the markets have already kind of priced it in.
Do you think that's maybe what made this fire sale is because they did announce it?
It's entirely possible. I'd have to, it could be a combination of the Wednesday rate decision and that announcement,
Okay.
but you'll never know for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. So no, I think we've covered the basis. We've asked the questions. Does it violate any of our rules? We dove into it, and yeah, Ags, great information. Thank you. And DeFi had just been another one of my clones. All right, get him, dude. Banhammer. I love it. Yeah, and if you guys don't know, on Discord, I did get the actual Serenity DHC. So I'm Serenity at Serenity DHC. If anybody shows up with Serenity hashtag something, they're a scam. Do not listen to them. They are not me. I no longer have a hashtag in my name. So yeah, they're running rampant out there, guys. So be safe. So it does not affect my view. I'm just saying, no, that's great, X. I appreciate it. And we're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to hopefully show you how to think and how to look at things wiser and not emotional like me, because I'm all kinds of but yeah, no, do what you think is right. None of this is financial advice, and we don't know. I don't know. He doesn't know. Well, he knows more than I know, but still, the fact is none of us really know. So for the vote, I've seen several go by saying yes, they want Matic, and even Mom, love you, Mom, hi, says she thinks she needs some Matic. So I know right after the stream, I'll be going down to Mom's house, 4 doors down, to buying her some Matic, by the sounds of it. Now, let me ask you something on this, Cyril. If we do this, is this one of those times where you would buy spot, or would you buy on a leverage, or how would you do this and why?
So when you got $25, you're not buying on leverage.
Okay.
At least not safely.
Okay.
And bearing in mind that we understand there is potential room for it to move down some more, you know, overall, the risk to reward ratio at spot is great. If you were trying to use leverage for it, especially with a smaller account, the risk to reward is not quite safe. You know, you could lose that 25. So in cases like this, it's much better to buy spot.
Okay. Is there a certain amount that you would recommend? And I know I'm getting sidetracked, but I'll get back to here in a sec because Funny Tour has some great comments. What would you say to start doing leverage trading? What do you need in a bag size? Like, what should the bag size be? And if you're only doing the 20% of your bag, was that 10% or 20%?
I use 10%, but yeah.
10% of your bag. Okay. So before you start leverage trading, what do you recommend that bag be and that 10% be before you start risking that?
I mean, it depends on your experience level.
Okay.
But if you're new, I would always recommend that you start off with a demo account so that you can understand the actual implications of trading with leverage. A lot of people don't fully understand the implications of trading with leverage and how quickly you can lose your portfolio if you're wrong. So, you know, and if you're not using proper risk management on your trades. So.
Okay. And just so everybody knows out there, like I said, this is MEXC. I do have a link in one of the videos, so I'll put one here too. But right here, it does say demo trading. So you do have this capability here. Not recommending you don't have to use affiliate link or anything like that, but just to let you know, yes, MEXC does have a demo account trading to start learning from. So you can do it right.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so that's what Cyril's talking about, is a demo account. You don't have to put any money in it, guys. You can do it just like you would, but it's with imaginary money. But you're getting the same lessons, and that's what we're really paying for.
Yes, free lessons because it's demo.
Right, exactly.
Generally, I recommend if you are going to start trading with leverage, at minimum, you want $100 in the account that you're actively trading with, at minimum. And even then, you should stick with only like 2x leverage. So
okay, very small then. Okay.
Yes.
So let's go through a couple of these comments because I know the community is talking to us. So Financial Road, all of the different partnerships that Polygon has. Yeah, I know they've been building a lot. And then he had one more up here. There it is. Oh, I got him out of order. Sorry. His first was the U.S. government seems to have a problem with Binance, but not Matic. It seems to be okay for now. And they have all the different partnerships going on with Polygon. Yeah, they do seem to be building. So that's good sound information there to have. Thank you. Let's see. It does not affect my view. Say okay. And Dave says you can get wrecked for free. Hey, perfect. I love it. But the great thing is, yeah, you're learning for free. So even when you do get wrecked, it's like, okay, add a little more to the demo account and go again, but with more wisdom this time. Yeah, that's huge. So everybody right now, if you would, everybody who's watching in the chat, put yes, put it all in Matic, or no, do not put it all in Matic. That's what a yes or no real quick. And however many yeses or nos, I'll give you 2 minutes real quick to see what you guys decide. I think I know which way they're going.
Now's when you need to have like the little Jeopardy music.
Yeah, I was just saying that. So, Cyril, while they're voting, I'm going to distract you back to yesterday. So, did you see the debate yesterday between me and Matt Hatter?
I got to listen into like the tail end of it while I was driving home.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, man, I need to trademark my name and start charging people $0.25 for using it, because I kept hearing my name.
You did. Yeah. Cyril, for those who don't know, Cyril is also the founder of KC Consulting, a consulting firm that they go out and they do the KYC process on these founders, on these teams, things like that, verify that that person really is who they are. And that was the big debate yesterday between me and Matt Hatter, was, since this is a DeFi space, should the founders and team members be able to be completely anonymous and still ask us for money to invest? And my position is no. I want to know that person, that face. Just my opinion. It's not saying it's right or wrong. And we had a great debate, and nobody came out the other side a winner, because there is no way to win. It was a great explanation. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. And if you haven't seen it, definitely go back and watch it, because it was awesome. And even during the stream, they made a meme coin in the process of this. Like, oh my God, really? You guys just have way too much fun with this thing.
Yeah, I saw it. I went and pumped their chart just for funsies. Yeah, here, I'll share it real quick. So when let me make the, hold on. When Yabonks was talking about it, their chart was this right here.
Okay.
Which was already up like thousands of %. But then Yabonks was talking about it, so I went ahead and made this candle right here.
Okay. How much did that cost you to make that huge green candle?
I don't know, like $50.
Oh wow, okay,
they got no liquidity, dude. There's so
right.
Before I bought, there was $85 of liquidity. And then I pumped the price, which of course, increased the liquidity amount and everything like that. But then it looks like some people bought after me, and then somebody sold this big red candle right here. That was a $56 sell. So that's how you know they got no liquidity.
Yeah, they probably bought in with $5 and they shook out $50. Like, yeah. And you know what? That's the game. That's how it works. So
yeah, that's small, consistent wins, right? That's the percentage gains. They may have put in like $1. I mean, we could actually look and see, but I don't feel like going down that rabbit hole right now.
We're not going to go there real quick.
No. But yeah, it's that small, consistent gains. Yabonks was like, yes, I sold my $1 worth that I bought at the beginning and made $56, and that's gonna pay for an animal surgery or their medication or something.
Absolutely. And so I know we're going down rabbit holes, but you know what? This is fun because we're teaching. And Cyril, are you okay? Is Rose going to come in here and punch me in the head in a minute? Or we got a few minutes?
I can give you another 5 minutes because we're already 20 minutes over time.
Oh, yeah. We are way over. Make a candle. Big gains. Absolutely. So Ags had another great question. And so I've got something to help you out here. Hopefully this will help. So Ags asked, can you please explain how you can benefit from arbitrage trading? And I know Cyril is a gold trader. And I know Collective Finance, the amazing team that I love, actually have the physical asset of gold. and the digital asset of gold prices both in one location. So I thought this might be a great place for you to explain what is arbitrage trading, as simple as you possibly can.
Oh boy, I mean that's a big conversation. But if I
It
was to
is.
bullet point it, you are buying an asset in one location for a cheaper price and selling it in a different location where the price is higher. This brings the price up on the location you purchased and brings the price down on the location you sold. So you've got A where you bought and B where you sold. And your profit is the difference in those prices. That's arbitrage trading.
Perfect.
Yeah, I like you
I was
drawing
trying to get my colors.
black circles on it.
I know I was trying to get my colors right. Sorry, I'm still working on my new toys. So essentially,
Okay.
you're buying here at $62.40 and selling at $62.94, essentially making 50 cents on it. What's that's going to do? It's going to raise the price here, and it's going to lower the price here until they balance out.
Right. Now, most users and regular retail investors are not going to be able to arbitrage correctly. Okay. There's a lot of calculations that goes into it. You need to calculate liquidity pool depth. What's my price impact going to be? Is the price impact going to be more or less than the profit that I'll be taking? Is there any bridge fees? What are my swap fees? What am I paying for gas? Like all of these different things in order to calculate what's actually profitable. I did actually arbitrage sea gold when somebody sold a bunch of it because they didn't have their own RBOT set up yet on the pools. It dropped the price down from what it was supposed to be at $67, or was it 65? I don't know. It was in that region. We'll just say 65. $65 per gram of gold. And it dropped it all the way down to 56.5, I believe it was. So I ran the calculations and saw that I could very safely go ahead and buy 12 of the sea gold tokens. And I simply waited. Less than an hour later, it returned to peg, at which point I sold it. I didn't actually sell it into a different pool. I just bought it because it fell out of peg.
Okay.
And so I bought, I waited, returned to peg, sold. And I made, I don't know, I think it was like 60 something in change, but it was less than
Nice.
an hour. So
Right, $60 an hour. That's pretty good wage, and that's kind of like when USDC depegged down to what 91 cents or 89 cents it hit, and then all of a sudden people started buying like, oh my god, flash sale, and load it up, and then jumps back up, and now look, sell it back, and all done. Life is happy.
exactly.
So,
I leverage traded the USDC depeg.
oh, I bet that was a good one for you. I
Oh
could just
yeah.
see you doing that one. Yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. 20x leverage.
Ooh,
Got in at
nice.
87.8 cents and just wrote it back up to peg.
There you go. And that's what that experience gains you guys. So yeah, we're people like me are not going to be able to do that right now. But Cyril's experience is going to get us to the point where we can do things like that. We can see those. So yeah, stick with us on this journey. And so going back to the voting now. So I've seen all yeses. I have not seen a single no. Does anybody not want to do the Matic process where we put all of it into Matic this time because it is a flash sale, in our opinion? Yeah. We don't guarantee it could crash tomorrow. I don't know. Anybody, any nays? If so, please throw it in the chat right now. Let us know, because if not, Cyril's going to take all $25 and put it straight into Matic. Going once, going twice, sold. Okay, there you go,
All
Mr.
right. That's what we'll do then. It's the blue chip that people voted for, so that works. There was a tie, but I hadn't cast my vote yet, so I broke the tie with Matic. Because the other one was BTC, which has already started recovering. Well, actually, we had a four-way tie. BTC had already started recovering from the dip. BNB didn't really dip much, and it's already working its way back up. And Solana, well, I just don't feel like trying to bridge the funds all the way over to Solana. So that left the obvious choice of Matic. So that's what I put my vote on.
Okay.
And
as we know, anytime there is a tie, Cyril saves his votes for the live stream. So he can always be that tiebreaker, guys. So it's not like we're giving him special favors. He doesn't vote during this time. I did vote. So I do my normal votes, but Cyril does not. So he will always be the tiebreaker on a Rags to Riches journey. Thank you, sir. Okay.
No problem.
So does anybody have any questions that we've covered, we haven't answered, or anything else that you want to dive into before Mr. Cyril leaves us tonight?
And I know that this wasn't like our usual format, because usually we focus on just specifically our portfolio with maybe a little bit of education sprinkled in. But we felt that with the recent turmoil in the markets, it would be good to have a conversation regarding consistency, regarding the discipline and patience necessary to succeed, and the overall mindset, because your mindset will make or break you as a trader. And so it's important to make sure, especially during times of turmoil, that you use that as an opportunity to exercise your mindset. It's like the old saying, it's like if you pray for patience, God doesn't grant you patience, he grants you the opportunity to be patient, right?
Which can drop everything in the middle of your life, so you have to learn it or die. One of the two.
Yep. It's that old sink or swim adage.
Right. Exactly. And Ads, hey, it's our pleasure, guys. If you have any questions we haven't covered, or you don't know, jump in the Down Home Crypto Discord. I'm there. Cyril's there. There's a bunch of great people there. DeFi, Yabonks, everybody hangs out there. We'll answer your questions. And there is no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know the answer, it's not stupid. We are there to help, to educate, and to teach. So anything you need, definitely jump to the Discord. And there's the link right there. And yeah, I think that's great. And I think this has been a great journey to find out that although the news and everybody is screaming the sky is falling, it's the end of the world, it's really not, because we're not going to let those reactions affect us. We're going to keep going with our rules of solvency, with our plan and our target.
And just to throw this out there, because it's applicable right now, let me grab this one particular rule.
Yes.
1 second. Where to go? Learning Center, solvency rules. There we go. Solvency rule number 11. Buy when the markets run red, even if the blood is your own.
Ooh, I like that. That is good.
Because
so even if you blood in the street. Okay.
When everyone is freaking out, that's when the smart money is buying. When everyone is excited, that's when we're selling. I knew it was time to DCA my way out of BTC when my dad asked me, how do I buy the Bitcoin? Right? That's when everyone is excited. Hype is at maximum. That's when you should be selling. When everyone's panicking, that's when you should be buying.
Very wise words. And I love the fact you incorporate even if the blood is your own. It's kind of morbid and twisted. DeFi, I love that. That's like some horror show gone horribly wrong. But it makes sense. So even if we have loss going down, keep buying, because it's going to go back up. That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Very wise.
Well, it's been great.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Cyril, for sticking with us a little bit later today. And yeah, I think this has been very enlightening, very educational. Guys, jump to the Discord and do me a favor. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, because we want to get as many people in here who want to change their life. And they don't have to know anything. They don't have to be college educated or rich or tech savvy. They simply need desire to change their life and courage to follow that dream. They too can join us on this great crypto adventure. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Cyril. Go get some dinner, buddy. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and you enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.